National Football League begins its quest for the players of the 90s. Welcome to New York City, as for the 11th straight year, ESPN presents live the NFL Draft. It's the 55th NFL Draft. We're glad you could join us here. We'll be on for 6.5 hours here at the Marriott Marquis Hotel in Manhattan in New York City. Hi, once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman, and on this Earth Day, it's a day that some young men will be sky high. Others will be brought down to earth. The day they've been waiting for, the day they find out who, if anyone, takes them and where as they head into their new life as professional football players. All right, Ben, here's Miami's selection.
I want to repeat, the Miami Dolphins select Richmond Webb, tackle from Texas A&M.
All right, that is not who they picked right there, not Alexander Wright. They picked Richmond Webb, and you had a feeling that even though Miami has gone 4 of the last 5 years in the first round on defense, that they still look for defensive help. You had a feeling that with one top offensive tackle right there, I mean, Don Shula likes to be able to put a guy and have him there for 10 years. You know how well they have protected Dan Marino. And Mel, he is by far and away head and shoulders the best offensive lineman in the draft.
You see him turning out Joel Smengi here in the Senior Bowl. He dominated Smengi at times in that game. There's going to be a second-round pick. The thing here about Miami, you know, they were considering J.D. Williams, Richmond Webb, and Francis. They opted for the offensive tackle.
All right, we are back here in New York. We've gone an hour. We've had 10 first-round selections. Let's quickly recap the last few. And that's Chris Singleton, went to New England, linebacker. Then Miami very quickly selected Richmond Webb, tackle, and Ray Agnew, defensive line from NC State, went with New England's second first-round pick. Well, let's kick this around a little bit with Miami. First of all, going offensive line, they've done so well through the years in protecting Dan Marino, but you know, Ronnie Lee they lost in Plan B. John Giesler has been a great tackle for them for a lot of years. He was let go. As Miami has kind of let go a lot of their name players, guys who've been with them for a lot of the 80s, but can't do it anymore, at least in the eyes of Don Shula and company. So they do have a lot of openings on the offensive line, and I guess Marino can't be too upset with that pick, Joe.
I was just going to say, Chris, if I'm the quarterback of any football team and a coach tells me we're going to select the best offensive lineman we believe in this draft and have him play the left tackle position, I got to breathe a sigh of relief, because all of a sudden I know my backside's taken care of. We constantly talk about the release of Dan Marino, and probably the quickest in the league since Joe Namath, but still, it's always nice to have that little bit of a comfort zone if you have to hold the football.
You surprised, Mel? Or
no, not at all. I knew they liked Webb. We knew they liked Francis and J.D. Williams. They didn't expect Webb to be here. They thought the Bears would take Richmond Webb with the 6th pick overall. They haven't gone for offensive linemen going back to the Roy Foster days, and they knew they had to start developing that position. You have to look at the offensive line. There's only 4 offensive linemen: Webb, Brostick, Elwyn Eby, and Iowa State's Keith Sims, that figure in that first 1 or 2 rounds. They figure with that second-round pick, they may be able to get a linebacker that can help them at that point, and maybe even a corner, but not an offensive lineman. So I think that's what Tom Heckert, Don Shula really believed, that this was a value pick. Obviously, Webb's performance at the Senior Bowl elevated him into a top 10 position.
All right, so the Raiders are up next. They have about 7.5 minutes to go. He's dressed in a blazer, but you know, there's somewhere on Pete Axthelm's clothes, there's some silver and black somewhere. Let's go down to Atlanta, Sewanee, Georgia. He's at the Falcons headquarters, but Axe has some insight on the Raiders. Don't you, Pete?
Well, thank you, Chris. You know, before we get to the Raiders, I also have my Aqua outfit on hand to talk about the Dolphins for a moment. A lot of fans are already, the ubiquitous talk shows in South Florida are buzzing with people saying they didn't go for defense, they need so much. Well, that's the point. Don Shula told me this week, we do need so many holes to fill that we just have to go for the old cliche and take the best guy available. So they get Webb, and Marino, as Joe said, he's developed that great quick release, and it gets quicker every year since Dwight Stevenson went down. The line began crumbling. John Sandusky, the offensive line coach, may be the one guy who's even happier about this pick than Dan Marino.